forgive me, my voice is kind of shot, but it was based on a barber that I had in college, and so he was really just the catalyst for the story. This eccentric, crazy kind of guy, and always thought he was such a character and wanted to, put him in a movie. So that was kind of the starting off point.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting balance because the we have, most of the movies were right on top of each other in different scenarios, and I mean Frankie had the brunt of the dialogue. My character's just doing a lot of reacting, and honestly, I mean Frankie did a good job of putting me in a place where I just had to watch, like in sometimes abject horror. But yeah, I mean, there's a couple of moments where we get close. I know there's a lot of improv in the movie too, particularly between me and the friends in the movie. And at those points, we'd go until someone busted up or until it got way too ridiculous. But I don't think you had trouble bursting out into laughter at all, did you?
I think there were quite a few moments where maybe it wasn't breaking character, but it's funny because I was watching the film again like yesterday, or was that this morning? This morning. They run together, I'm sure you know. Because after you've seen it once or twice, then you can really sit back and you're detached from it. And I noticed places where I broke in my head because I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always responses from Spencer because they're so subtle. And I'm in this weird thing, and it's just his look is so internally, oh my God. And like he said, there was a lot of improv and stuff just in the moment, and my character's a little scary, and I didn't know whether he was acting or whether I was.
And he's good at it. It's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell.
Effortless.
And for a canvas to work off of, you for a large character, you need someone that can absorb that and stay in those moments. And he was just, it's a give and take thing. And some people you give it and it's just you hit a wall. Sure. And him, it just absorbed in.
Thank you. Yeah, I think you gave me a lot to work with.
It's kind of obviously I'm not on camera, but I was constantly behind the monitor, just people always taking pictures of me gleefully smiling like an idiot because I'd get so excited seeing a performance take place and just being excited about, oh man, this is happening. It's great. Like
through your face, through your happy face.
I can't manufacture it. It just happens.
I have a picture of Kyle on the monitor and he's going.
Yeah, that one got. The best pictures are reflections of Kyle. So you can see the monitor, and then it's the reflection of what he's.
Yeah, just
this is like full of joy.
Yeah. He's sitting there with this boyish glow, and as an actor, I was a mess. But I looked at that picture that still photographer showed to me, and I went, "I'm giving him what he needs."
I mean,
because I could see it, and he was just.
He looked like a little boy. Looked like
a little boy.
Still does.
Last thing I'll say about that is when you're watching it behind the monitor, you're feeling like you're seeing it for the movie for the very first time. So for me, that's like getting to watch it, and obviously I know what's going to happen, but in a way I kind of don't because they did improvise so much. And RJ's here. This guy. Up there, pal. Yeah. RJ, they were asking about if you guys ever broke on camera, like because of somebody laughing or like a take.
The whole time. The whole time. It happens so often because these guys are so funny, and working with Kyle and Jon, they just give us so much freedom to do whatever. So many moments we had to refilm them. It was an improv. We had to refill the improv because it was just hilarious. It was so fun working with these guys.
Yeah.
There's a scene in the car where the two of you in the front are riffing, and he's chiming in, and you guys are doing this fight thing. And I noticed it this morning. You can see him sitting in the back, trying to stay in his thing and look. As an actor, you can see him looking for his spot to jump in because it's an improv, and then he just goes. And I'm like, he just broke.
It's too funny.
It was great.
Well, I'll just say first, Kyle and I wanted to make a point to do, we called it like a cast retreat. So 3 months before filming, we brought excluding Frankie intentionally.
There was no bonding.
Yeah. RJ, Spencer, Nora, and Bo, we all spent 5 days together on this lake and like did all these activities and table reads and things, and there's like unique settings and had activities planned all day. and it could have went one of two ways. Like somebody could have really not got along with someone else or whatever, and that would have been tragic. But thankfully it went the other way. And they just hit it off. And I mean, you guys can speak to that, but like I feel like that translated to screen. And
No, for sure. I said it before. It was really like friends making a movie, honestly. It was just so cool. It was insane. Like, honestly, every morning I got up and went to set. I was like, I'm just going to go hang out with my boys on camera. That's really just how I felt.
Yeah, totally. No, I mean, I remember reading the script when Kyle sent it to me early in the process, and I remember reading some of the lines, like Sonny's lines and Dee's lines, and I was like, and the way Kyle writes, it's very like reminiscent of like like Spielberg or like early like 90s, like where like the friends, you could tell they've been friends because of how they rag on each other all the time. But reading it on the page, I'm like, why is Billy friends with these guys? I'm like, they're so mean, and he's such a jerk, and like everyone's making fun of him all the time, and I'm like, and why is he hanging out with him? He takes him to this crazy barber. But the second we did the table read on the first day on that lake, and I was listening to them, I was like, oh right, that's how it works. And it was really, it was really, I mean, it was really exciting in that moment to see. I was like, that's right, that's how we are friends. We've been friends forever. Yeah.
I beg to differ. I wasn't invited to the lake. There was this synergy that I did not know that I stepped into, because when I was brought on, I didn't know that they all knew each other for years. And there was this bond between these friends, and I stepped in the bad guy, and there's already a synergy. And there was no synergy required from my side. So I had a completely different experience, and it was really strange, and it played into the pressure of the character wanting to fit in and be loved and be included, and he wasn't. And it's not that I wasn't included by the cast, it's just they already had a bond and a pack, and I wasn't in it. And it was okay, because it really forced my character deeper into that box. And it was just all this interlaid stuff. And they're all laughing, and I'm dying inside. You know, I know, that's how I felt exactly. You know, but in hindsight, I sit back and I look at it, and I thought, Frankie, did you push that because that's where you wanted to be? Because that's what the character lived in. Because, I mean, they weren't rude or mean or saying, no, you can't come to the lake, you're Mick. But there was this feeling there that you don't fit in.
Just 3 months before we filmed, and I also think too that, yeah, similar to what you were saying, that there was like a natural kind of dynamic that built that I think lended itself to the final product where there's this knowledge of the character, and because Mick was so like legendary during the retreat. We're reading about we're like, this character is going to be like wild, and at the time Kyle was the one reading all the lines, and if anyone else was to play Mick, it should have been Kyle.
I've had more line readings in my life on set.
Do it like this.
No, there's a moment in the movie. There's a moment in the movie that I won't spoil, but it's a very theatrical, almost borderline dance sequence, and Kyle did it for us on the day, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I was like, Kyle, you should act. You should be
telling him that.
Yeah, and he's like, no, I'm not. I'm not an actor. No, you just embody everything you're doing. But yeah, I think the relationships I think felt natural at the end of the day, which was in every respect.
It was like critical that we cast people. It was either going to work, because otherwise, if it doesn't land right or you don't see it from like, oh, this is just friends busting each other's chops. If it's not that, you're like, these are mean people. And it is what Spencer said. It's like, why are they hanging out? But you all did that, so
it felt very natural. It felt very natural.
It was a very unpleasant experience. It was very painful. And at the bottom of Mick's hole, I ran into myself. And I didn't expect that. And I told myself I'm not going to cry. I didn't expect to find this loneliness and this empty well of pain of not having coming to the determination and the understanding that I lived a life of not fitting in, being on the outside, not getting the girl, not getting chose for softball, getting beat up by the girl at school first day of junior high, Rita DiScolo, bitch. Um,
Jeez.
Look at me now.
Yeah, that's right.
I dated her. I dated her in high school, so I got.
Where is she?
I have no idea.
Exactly.
She's
Not here.
Exactly.
You know, I ran into myself. My mother having put me and my sisters in foster homes at age 7, coming out of theta into alpha is a very critical time, and that implant was placed at that time, and I at the same time we're doing this character, I discovered that I had lived that life, and it hit me that I've been trying to fit in and be loved and find love, and I went through drugs, and there are things that are not in the film, Mick smoking crack and blah blah blah. So we filmed a lot of this stuff, and I'm 36 years sober. There's crackheads behind our hotel, and there's hookers, and I'm out there with them at night and walking around, and pockets full of money. I'm shooting a movie, and I just fell into this hole, and it kept getting worse and worse and worse, and I wasn't hanging out, and I didn't fit in, and there was this synergy, and it was just horrible. And then I spent the last 2 years looking at my fellow humankind, realizing that it wasn't just me. There are so many people out in the world that all they're doing in their base modus operandi is trying to fit in, be accepted, and find love. And that's what Mick was. Oh my God, you're amazing. Look at you, blah, blah, blah. And underneath that, he's hiding, but he's screaming, love me. And then I found myself there, and it was fucked up. Pardon my language. It was not a pleasant thing. In our basic, as human beings, we really only want one thing: to be loved and fit in and be acknowledged. And then the best and worst part hit, that it's like, wait a minute, you've been trying your whole life to win the affections of a woman because your mother threw you away, and you went through all of this with friends and da-da-da, and Hollywood and acting and dancing and stunts and blah blah blah, and the whole time God has been sitting there going, I love you, I'll accept you as you are, as broken as you are. And just the whole thing was so heavy and profound. And I'm sitting there going, Frankie, how are you going through this? Why are you going through this? You've played these characters hundreds of times. You feel bad for a couple of weeks, and then you let it go. This guy didn't go away. And I was talking with my friend, and he said, Frankie, you've called these kind of characters to you many times, and maybe there was something down in the hole that you had to go and figure out. And I don't know if I did, but what I wanted in the most with Mick, and I was on Kyle, is we have to show his humanness. Otherwise, he's just bad. And to hear the press and fans come up and say, I had a lady walk up to me outside today, and she starts trembling. And I'm like, I understand. And she goes, I've lived Mick my whole life. And we're both standing there crying because we both understand. And I'm like, why am I crying over my film?
It's been the most overwhelming response from audiences. Is people do, I think like on the Fantastic Fest schedule catalog, it lists one of the highlights of our movie as a iconic killer. And it's funny because once you see the movie and if you even reading the script, you're like, I don't really necessarily think of him as the killer. I mean, he does horrible things throughout it, and their killing, it may or may not be included in that, but it is people connect with him in a way that's really interesting. And I think it is because Frankie has such a deep connection to the role, and he went. I could tell on the days we were filming that it was affecting him greatly. And I remember there was times where he, took breaks. We had to stop and let him.
Frankie go cry in the corner.
Let him work through it. Let him work through it. I mean, and there was times where like we wanted to cut stuff in the script, and it was like, and you wanted to make sure that it was still felt or heard in some way. And what I love about the script in particular, what we talked about during filming, was how Billy and Mick, as different as they appear at their core, are like dudes on the verge of snapping, in one way or another. I think your pain translates very beautifully on screen.
And it's just, there was such a palette with him, and the other actors. You look at them and they're so pretty and they're so young and they're so vivacious and full of life, and Mick is devoid of that. And I don't know if that rang to the audience.
Well, yeah, you seem to be the fan favorite.
Thank you guys for, facilitating my therapy.
The only two songs we knew off the bat were the opening credits song. We used Rock Me Amadeus, and then John had the idea for the end credits to use the song that we used there. So we knew that we wanted those two songs, and then when our editor Ben Mills, he gave us the initial assembly cut, and he included a lot of these other tracks that you hear in the movie, and we were like, wow, this, now we can't unhear this. Now we got to find a way to try to make this happen. And so
it's his fault.
It's his fault, but we're very thankful, and we ended up adding more songs to that, and then kind of creating this eclectic soundtrack that really it just felt right for what this movie was, trying to make it this timeless sort of thing. So
We get a lot of people. I mean, we've done test screenings before, even we got into like the festival circuit, and it's cool to hear people say how much the music, how much of an impact it has, for them, and how much they love the music and stuff. Like, to us is really important. So it's cool that translates too. Mine doesn't look so good right now. I just need to get my hair cut.
yeah, I had a stupid bowl cut when I was 5.
I had so many bad haircuts in my life. I don't even know how to explain it. When I first got offered the movie, I thought they were talking mess about me. I was like, oh, that's what we're doing.
In the late 90s, I also had a bowl cut, but I thought it was cool. Like, it was cool, but I have like curly hair and humidity makes it puffy, so I would always put a bunch of gel in and try and make it straight, because all the cool kids had straight.
Yeah, John, that wasn't cool.
No, it wasn't.
I don't know. Growing up, I was always so shy about like asking the barber for what I wanted. I never wanted to like show them a photo of, say, someone like Brad Pitt. I'd be like, because like I don't want to, because I know I'm not gonna look like that when I come out of it. So why am I showing you this photo of this person? But I'll have like, there's like one time where I was like, oh, I like it a little shorter on the sides, but not don't buzz it. I'm like, just a little, like I like more on top to order. He's like, yep, got you, no problem. And then and I was like, yeah, it looks great, it looks awesome. Yeah.
I'm a giver, not a taker. I give haircuts, I don't take them. I haven't had a haircut since I left the military in '82. No, that's not true. I did have a haircut. I went to the cheap supercut place, and I showed the lady the picture, and I knew I wasn't going to look like Brad Pitt when I came out, and I didn't, and that was the last haircut.
Yeah.
Enough of this.
I figured
I'm not doing
someday
that
I'd be in
again.
a movie where I could be a barber.
There you go.
And it's weird because in LA, before I flew out, I'm going to hair salons, and I'm saying, hey, do you mind if I just sit over there and watch? And I'm sitting
No
there.
way.
No, yeah. I'm sitting over there with my script going.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, you're freaking out my clients. And I'm like, no, I'm a thespian. And it had to have been
Yeah,
like
you can like
out of-
whoever you like, man. But
it was, yeah, I'm never getting laid again in my life. It's just never going to happen.
after this comes out, you're gonna be a movie star.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you
with
so
that,
much. I
folks,
appreciate you.